Hey, sports porchers! It's your hockey Jesus, and I'm back with game 4 and 5 analysis of the Stanley Cup finals. Actually, I'm going to do something a little bit different tonight. I'm going to give you some analysis based off of my experience with the Pittsburgh Penguins and Stanley Cup finals. And I think both Edmonton and Florida has something that they can learn from this little bit of history that I've actually lived through. So I understand game sixes. But before we get to game sixes, hey, thanks for hitting that button. I'm the hockey Jesus. I'm trying to bring the good news of hockey to all fans everywhere. I love the Pittsburgh Penguins. I give a little recap after every Pittsburgh Penguins game, but since they haven't been relevant since the playoffs, and maybe even some might say before that, I've just been looking at the Stanley Cup finals, and I've got a little analysis tonight that I think will resound with both Edmonton and Florida fans. And it's a good nostalgia trip for me as a Pittsburgh Penguins fan, being that, we haven't been relevant in the playoffs for many years now. Hopefully soon to change with our new coach, but I digress. Let's talk a little bit about how we got here. So game 4, Edmonton. Wow, what a great game that was. It was one of the all-time great games. Down 3-0, score that fourth goal late in the third, and so does Florida. They score a little bit later. But the game winner by Draisaitl in overtime. I said, you got to get secondary scoring in order to win that game, and that's what they did. Edmonton got secondary scoring from Wallman. I'm telling you, that's a big shot in the arm for a team that needs to win. I think you'll see that play out here in game 6 also as we go forward. Whoo, man, that game was great. And then Florida just got back to their game. I don't know. Edmonton, I know they were out there playing hard, but man, Florida, when they get going, they really know how to clamp down on the Stars. And I know everybody's pissed off at Connor McDavid and that whole thing, but hey, it's not like he's not trying out there. Florida is really doing a good job of getting him. And I think you'll see with my analysis, same thing happened to Sid in the playoffs, even when they won. Sid got clamped down, and you need secondary scoring. That's the key. So let's look at this a little bit. I've got a couple breakdowns here. We're going to look at some history from Wikipedia. I'm going to show you a little chart that I created with just a little Excel. I love Excel. I'm an engineer, so what can I say? I like to use Excel. Let's look at this a little bit. So here's what I got. This is basically the breakdown. So if you look at Edmonton, game 5, Florida wins big, right? They won 6-1 the other night. So the Florida model for Florida winning the cup is the Pens. No, I have this absolutely backwards. The Florida model is the 2017 guys, and the Edmonton model is the 2009 guys. Had that completely backwards, so we'll just fix that right now. Yes, I love Excel, so it's easy to do. So Edmonton wants to model the 2009 Pens. The Pens lost big to Detroit, 5-0. All the big guns were scoring for Detroit that game. Everybody was counting them out. They said, no way, absolutely not, absolutely no way that there's no way that Edmonton, I'm sorry, in this case, Pittsburgh can come back and win game 6, but they did. And how did they win game 6? Let's look. Let's hold off on that for just 1 second. The Florida model is the Pens won big, Florida wins big, Pens win 2-0 against. At that time, that was the oh my gosh, I'm losing my mind here. Nashville Predators. And it was just an absolutely boring game. Let's look at that right now. Let's look at those. Let's look at the box scores for these games. I think this will tell us exactly what we need when it comes to what needs to happen with both teams. So let me get that screen up. Let's start with the 2009 model. Let's see what Edmonton has to do. Okay. So Edmonton, if they really want to do something here, they got to follow the 2009 Pens. So the 2009 Pens in Game 6. Here they are. Here's the box score. You can see that there really wasn't a lot going on, but what you don't see is the goaltending. The goaltending situation for Pittsburgh in 2009 was essentially a young Marc-Andre Fleury. You might remember him, but he kept Detroit off. But you can see down here. Look at this in the shots total. Detroit only had 12 shots in the first two periods. I think that's what Edmonton's going to have to do against Florida. They're going to have to get in the lanes. They're not going to allow shots on goal. They got to protect their goalie a little bit. And then you can see in the third period, Fleury really clamped it down. They had 14 shots in the third period. And Draper did get one in about 8 minutes in, but that's it. That's all he left in, just one out of those 14. And they really just took it over. But you can see Jordan Stahl scored, Tyler Kennedy scored. Those guys were third line guys for the Penguins back in 2009. And look at these guys with the assists: Scuderi, Talbot, Fedotenko. I mean, you don't see Gino or you don't see Sid on there at all. So, that's what Edmonton's going to have to do. They're going to have to get some secondary scoring. And that's going to be hard because I do believe that Florida has the edge when it comes to the third and fourth line. They've been very good. So that's going to be an uphill battle, but that's what you got to do, Edmonton. If you want to absolutely, if you want to do it, then that's what you got to do. You got to make that happen. So if you are the Florida Panthers, what it is you have to do, well, let me show you. That would be the model of the 2017 Penguins. Stop screen. Let's share the other one. And that would be the 2017 Penguins right here. The 2017 Penguins, like I said, playing against the Nashville Predators. Pretty much, they had the upper hand on the Predators. They won big the game before. Everybody scored. Actually, you know what? In the game before, it was actually everybody scored, but Schultz scored, Russ scored, Gino scored, Kessel scored, and a guy named Ron Hainsey. If you would ask me, did Ron Hainsey score in Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals in 2017? I would be like, I have no idea. I didn't even remember Ron Hainsey was on the team, but he scored a goal in the Stanley Cup Finals. So I think, if you're the Florida Panthers, you have to look at this as going to be an absolute slugfest. Meaning you're just going to have to just keep at it, keep going, and, just try and get shots on goal. If you can see down here, the shots were pretty even. And honestly, the Penguins got, and I know this is going to be hard news for Nashville fans, but Penguins got a big break because, the Predators got the first goal, but it was called back. Well, it was not, they didn't really call it a goal. What happened was Colton Sissons knocked in a puck that Matt Murray thought he had, but he didn't have. But they already blew the whistle and said that he had it. That was a big break for the Penguins. I know that Predators fans were really pissed off, probably still pissed off about that, much like the Immaculate Reception. But that's the kind of breaks you need. And honestly, Penn's got a break too in the 2009 game. Zetterberg hit a post early, and if that goes in, I think it's probably a different game. So I think the key for both teams is going to be the score first. I think maybe it might not be true, but I think whoever scores first is really going to have a big upper hand when it comes to winning Game 6. Let me jump out of here. Okay, I'm going to remove this. Okay, so that's your lesson. That's your history lesson. The Pittsburgh Penguins of 2009 could be just like Edmonton. Edmonton, if you want to move on to Game 7, and in Game 7, once again, another slugfest for the Pittsburgh Penguins. They had to go to Game 7, but that was not easy either. But, Maxime Talbot, we'll talk about that should there be a Game 7. Another unlikely hero in Game 7, and Sid actually got injured in Game 7 in that 2009 final. But that's really what it's going to take for both teams. You know what? If you put me up against the wall and made me pick, I don't know. I just feel like Florida's got the momentum now. I have to say, I have been rooting for Edmonton. I think Edmonton, Connor McDavid. It seems like the best guys on the ice usually win. And you know what? Maybe the best guys are on the ice are Sam Bennett and Brad Marchand. That might be the way it is. Maybe they're better than Draisaitl and McDavid. And I know a lot of people are going to say, that's stupid. You're a pigeon brain. You have no idea. You have no idea what you're saying, Hockey Jesus. And that might be true. But I'm giving you the history lesson, the way I lived it, the way I learned it. I can't wait to watch Game 6 Tuesday night. And gosh, I think we have to wait the whole way till Friday night if there's a Game 7. But you have to watch the whole game. There is nothing like seeing the cup on the ice and the team, even if you don't like the team, gets to raise it. It's the most glorious thing in all of sports. It's the best trophy, one of the hardest to win. Stay up no matter what happens and watch it. Hopefully we get to see a Game 7. If not, I'll be back here recapping the whole Stanley Cup playoffs. So until then, hey, thank you. Hit that subscribe button if you think this history lesson was good for you. And if you're a Pittsburgh Penguins fan, stop by. We're going to have a draft analysis soon. Me and my buddy, the counselor, are going to get together and talk about draft picks and what's going on, all things Penguins. Thanks for stopping by. Enjoy the hockey. The playoffs are almost over, and it's making me sad, but I'll catch you in the next one.